So this tutorial will cover color exclusion, which basically means we're going to single out one color, leaving the rest of the image black and white. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to single out the green of this woman's scarf, as you can see here, leaving everything else black and white. And we're going to be using a method called color range. Now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to head up to the top and click on select, and then click on color range. And here is our color range dialog box. Now, I've mentioned this in a past tutorial not too long ago, that Photoshop CS4 has a new slider called range in the color range dialog box, and we'll get into that in a second. Basically what we're going to do, we're going to make our initial selection. So we're going to go ahead and click on one of the green colors, and you'll notice that a selection starts to form. Basically, in this preview window, anything white will be selected, anything black will not be selected. So we want as much of the scarf to turn white as possible. So we're going to hold down our shift key, which will add to our selection, and we're going to click on different color greens, and you'll notice that the scarf starts to lighten up in the preview window. And we're going to continue going around the scarf until pretty much all of the scarf is white. Now you'll notice some areas at the top here are also white as well. What we want to do in Photoshop CS4 is turn down the range. Basically what that does is Photoshop recognizes where we made our selections. So it notices that we made our selections in the bottom half of the area. Once we turn the range down, it will get rid of the selections or the color greens in the top half of the area, in the image, sorry. So we're going to turn the range down, and we're going to turn the fuzziness down a little bit as well. And we're going to continue selecting some of the greens that may not have been selected. Just like this, and if we hold down Alt or Option, we can go ahead and deselect some of the colors just like that. So that's a pretty decent result. It's not perfect, but it looks pretty good. As you can tell, the scarf is white and everything else is pretty much black. So we're going to go ahead and click OK. And you'll notice that it made a selection. This is what we're going to do now. We want to select everything else but the scarf. So we're going to go to Select and then click on Inverse. That will go ahead and select everything but the scarf. Now the selection is a little bit dodgy in this area here. You can go ahead and grab your lasso tool and fix that selection up a little bit, but I'm going to leave it for now. Now to turn everything black and white except the scarf, we're going to go to the bottom of our layers palette here, and we're going to click on this button right here, which is our fill or adjustment layer. We're going to click on that, and then we're going to click on Hue/Saturation. Now in Photoshop CS4, a separate dialog box, or a panel I should say, will appear. We can go ahead and adjust our hue and saturation there. And very simply, we're going to drag the saturation down to 0. And you'll notice everything has turned black and white except for the scarf. Now the advantage of using an adjustment layer rather than applying the adjustment right on top of the image is if we go back to our layers palette and later on down in our project we want to go ahead and make some adjustments to our hue and saturation that we've applied to the image, we can either go ahead and hide it, delete it, or double click on the icon and make adjustments just like this. So it gives us a lot of flexibility, not only immediately, but further down the line if we want to make some changes. So hopefully this has given you some sort of an insight on how to single out a color and make everything else black and white in Photoshop. Now this can be done using any color. You can do it with one color, two colors, three colors. It's all up to you. Now of course there are many methods of making a selection, how to single out one color and then turn everything else black and white, but I found this method to be the most flexible and probably will give the best outcome.